asking for the bombs. Oh no, they are. I'm a journalist. I'm in contact with Iranian youth who are asking to be bombed. And you are standing here supporting a terrorist regime.
Wait, did you catch that? This is the exact moment the entire No Kings narrative imploded. You have a literal refugee who survived an Iranian prison schooling a protester who has never set foot outside the States. This is the raw reality the mainstream news won't show you. Stop scrolling because we are diving into the most chaotic footage from this week.
Yes, all you kids.
Yeah, all you.
I hope you go to war and fucking die. I'm just curious, why would you tell kids you hope they go to war and fucking die? Why would you tell them that?
Look at the lady with the no war sign. Did she really just tell a group of kids she hopes they go to war and die? The level of brain rot here is actually off the charts. You're standing there holding a sign for peace while screaming death threats at children. It's wild how quickly the kindness mask slips when these people are confronted with a different opinion. Look at her face. She's completely serious. This isn't just a protest anymore. It's a total breakdown of basic human decency. You have to wonder what goes through someone's head to think that wishing death on kids is a progressive take. It's the ultimate hypocrisy. She claims to be against violence, yet she's manifesting the most violent outcome possible for the next generation. We are seeing this over and over again in these clips. The slogans on the signs never match the words coming out of their mouths. It's pure emotional instability caught on 4K.
Clashes between protesters, counter-protesters, and officers turned chaotic in Denver. Police had to use smoke bombs as protests spiraled out of control. And in Portland, masked protesters tackled federal officers outside an ICE facility. In Los Angeles, a tactical alert had to be issued following several clashes. DHS saying that around 1,000 rioters surrounded the federal building there, throwing rocks, bottles, and large concrete blocks, hurting at least 2 officers. Tear gas had to be deployed at one point. And this woman could be seen painting the words, "Kill your local ICE agent," outside the building.
As Americans, we...
Now, check out the tactical alert in LA. This isn't a peaceful rally. They are literally throwing concrete blocks at officers and spray painting death threats on federal buildings. Look at the smoke bombs in Denver. It looks like a scene out of a dystopian movie. When they start painting "Kill your local ICE agent," they've moved way past political disagreement. This is organized chaos. You've got masked up agitators tackling federal officers in Portland, while the media calls this a cost of living protest. Give me a break. If you're throwing rocks and bottles, you aren't worried about the price of eggs. You're looking for a fight. The energy on the ground is getting darker by the day. Notice how specialized these protesters look. They come prepared with masks, paint, and projectiles. It's a coordinated effort to overwhelm local police, and as we saw in the footage, it's working in some of these cities. The level of aggression is specifically targeted at enforcement, trying to create a vacuum where there's zero authority left.
Looks like there's a lack of diversity here today. That it's mostly people who look like you and I, and I just it
is not for black people, for people of color to get out on the street. They're at risk when they do that. If anybody's going to get arrested here, it's going to be a black person. It is not safe for them, and they don't need to participate. We need to walk in their name.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Okay. What do you think about voter ID? Do you think it's racist?
It's 100% a tactic to control the population and prevent people from voting, so that the only votes so that the gerrymandering can work, so that white voters can vote in white Christian males.
Have you been voting blue most of your life?
You guys have to see this one. This lady is literally telling black people to stay home because it's not safe for them to protest. Talk about a white savior complex on steroids. She's basically saying, stay back, let the white people handle the street work because you're too much at risk. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. She's participating in a movement that claims to be about equality, while simultaneously gatekeeping the movement based on race. Look at the interviewer's face. He's just letting her dig the hole deeper. Then she says she's been voting blue since the womb and would rather slit her throat than vote for a Republican. This is the definition of political radicalization. It's not about policy for her, it's an identity. She's literally speaking for an entire demographic that didn't ask for her protection, and she's doing it with a smile. It's the kind of condescension that actually pushes people away from these movements. This is the brain rot we keep talking about, where the ideology becomes so narrow that you end up sounding like the very thing you claim to hate.
To those 2-hour work weeks when I'm in Washington waiting on the Senate to budge on something, and that's clearly what's going on here. And Harvey's right at TMZ. He is correct. I hope they bust some people on this thing because this is ridiculous. America's suffering. We're paying more at the pumps. Excuse me, we're paying more at the pumps. These ridiculous lines. We're forcing TSA agents to work for free multiple times this year, and yet Congress has continued to be paid. That's why I've sponsored legislation to do away with that. When the government's in a shutdown or a partial shutdown, as this is, we shouldn't get paid, but we're a bunch of spoiled brats, ma'am. And, I get sick and tired of congressmen saying they can't, you know how much money I could make if I just went home and worked? Well, dadgummit.
Finally, a politician who actually calls it like it is. Look at the frustration on his face. While everyone else is stuck in 4-hour TSA lines because of the shutdown, members of Congress are literally skipping the line to go on a 2-week vacation. He calls them spoiled brats, and honestly, he's underselling it. Think about the hypocrisy. They won't budge on the budget, they let the TSA agents work for free, and then they use their special badges to bypass the chaos they created. It's the rules for thee, not for me playbook in real time. He's pointing out that more people have played pro baseball than have served in Congress. It's an elite club, and they're acting like it. If the government is shut down, their paychecks and their perks should be the first thing to go. But instead, they're looking at the Capitol, getting chills, and then hopping on a plane to avoid the very mess the average American is dealing with at the gate. This is why people are fed up. It's not just about the money. It's about the total lack of shared experience between the people in Washington and the people they represent.
The conflict grinds on. Reports indicate the United States is preparing for a possible weeks-long ground operation in Iran that would include thousands of U.S. service members. Over the weekend, the USS Tripoli, manned with 3,500 troops, including 2,500 Marines, arrived in the CENTCOM area of operation. If an operation is ordered to seize Iranian oil facilities or enriched uranium, it's expected that both special forces and conventional forces would be used. This comes as the United States and Israel launched a series of strikes against Iranian military infrastructure over the weekend, including...
This is the high-stakes reality behind all the noise. 3,500 troops, including 2,500 Marines, just pulled into the area of operation. This isn't a drill. The USS Tripoli is on the scene, and they are specifically looking at Iranian oil facilities and uranium sites. When you see the special forces getting mentioned, you know the strategy is surgical. They aren't looking for a massive 300,000 troop invasion like Iraq. They are looking to neutralize very specific threats before things get nuclear. Whether you support the move or not, the boots on the ground reality is officially here. This report confirms the shift from diplomacy to active positioning. The goal is clearly to seize leverage over the Strait of Hormuz, but the risk factor is through the roof. If they move on those enriched uranium sites buried in the mountains, it's a whole new game. You can see the tension in the news anchor's delivery. Everyone knows how thin the ice is right now. This is the major update that has the entire Middle East on edge, and it's happening while the domestic protests are reaching a boiling point. The world is moving fast. If you want the raw footage without the filter, hit that sub button. Let me know in the comments, are you with the Iranian refugee or the protesters? Peace.